I have a pleasure to be here with Randall Lane, who is the editor of the Forbes magazine here in New Jersey, at the headquarters of the Forbes magazine. And Randall, thank you for meeting us.
I'm glad to be here.
Good, good. And I have basic question. You interviewed many of the top persons in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the most precious moments, best ideas you remember.
Oh, well, it's a big question. I mean, what's fun about being at Forbes is we get access to basically everybody in the world. If you're in business, you want to be in Forbes. You want to be in the cover of Forbes. It's the ultimate success. And that has given me a chance to get to know a lot of these people. The best moment, I mean, there's so many. The idea, even when I was a reporter here, I started here as a reporter 20 years ago, to be able to go into factories and go and actually touch businesses and actually get under the hood, as we say, of the car, actually see how these businesses work. I mean, I went to the Olympics 20 years ago in 1996 in Atlanta with Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, when I was a reporter, and actually to see the Olympics through the eyes of one of the greatest sports marketers ever. Or I learned about brewing beer with the Coors family, which is a big beer here in the United States. Or I went to, if you like Star Wars, 20 years ago I was with George Lucas at Skywalker Ranch, and he gave me his first interview to show what his business was like. So it's really those opportunities when I was a reporter to actually get inside businesses and get inside the heads of the world's greatest business minds has been a real privilege, and I get to do that now as an editor, kind of shape all the coverage for everybody.
Okay. You edited also the special edition and the book that was prepared for the anniversary, 100 years of Forbes.
Yes.
When you think about those 100 greatest minds in business,
yes,
what was the best experience?
I helped some of them write them themselves, and I actually spent a lot of time with Warren Buffett, who was on our cover, and he and I worked on his essay together, and I thought he had the best line. There are a lot of amazing lines. It's a great issue, and it's got so many, it's great no matter where you are in the world and no matter what business you're in, these are great timeless lessons. But he said, this is the greatest investor of the last 100 years, the greatest investing mind, one of the best ever. And he goes, the best investment you can make is to invest in yourself, to whatever you can do to make yourself a kind of a storehouse for information and for knowledge and for wisdom, because the markets go up and down, but when you invest in yourself, they can't take that away from you. That's something you always hold and you could always leverage. So I thought that was actually, for somebody who's 87 years old, that was very wise advice.
Okay. And the last question is, you did interview with Donald Trump.
Yes.
Twice in basically a year and a half.
Yes.
So how was it?
I've interviewed him many times.
Okay.
So it's not as a lot of people are like, wow, you interviewed I've known him on and off for more than 20 years. He's the same as he hasn't changed much at all.
Really?
So even to go to we went to the Oval Office.
Okay.
And you walk in and, there's the president, and the job has changed and the title has changed, but Donald Trump's still Donald Trump. He showed us around the White House and he's making jokes but interviewing him, it's the same. He's very, what you see is what you get, and I think the story, we told it honestly. That's the president right now, and Forbes has we have a 35-year relationship with him, and so he cares very much about what Forbes says about his business, his net worth. So it's interesting to have a president in there who's also a billionaire and somebody who's been for decades very, very, he thinks what Forbes says is very important, and it means a lot to him and how he measures himself.